Howdy, y'all, and welcome to the Maple Mafia channel. I'm Tim Nichols of MrMaple.com. We're a family mail order business. We ship directly to your door, and we do over 1,000 varieties of Japanese maples. We also list trees on eBay. So today I'm talking about the trees that are going off today on 3/23 of 2025. About the trees that are going off today. There's a ton of awesome Japanese maples that are starting to go off right around 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, all the way to 9:10 Eastern Standard Time. Y'all, some really killer, really rare Japanese maples. Some of these Japanese maples are ones that when we list on our website, they sell really quickly. This gives you another opportunity. Sometimes they're a second chance. So we've listed them, but then we found one or two around the nursery. And then sometimes they're a first-time offering that we've never even listed before. So this eBay allows us to be able to offer maybe one extra stock plant that we normally wouldn't have let go of, and allows you to be able to get some of these cool trees that you've always wanted. Y'all, starting off today, the very first tree going off, we got a Mystic Makawa, so we're bringing the heat early. This is a Makawa Yatsubusa type with a tightly layering habit and a bright orange color. Heavily desired. The Mystic Makawa, it's pretty mystical. It's just slow growing, and that orange color just adds that new dynamic. It was one of the first color variations found with that orange color on a Makawa Yatsubusa style. We sell it quickly when we list them on Mr. Maple. Dropping one here today, so you've got that opportunity. We're bringing the heat with a lot of Makawa types on this eBay. Y'all, it's Japanese Princess is next. This is a selection by Talonbell Colts. It actually was one of the very first variants with that pink color and the twisting leaf. And that's the unique thing about Japanese Princess is it's slow growing. It's got that tight layering habit everyone loves with Makawa Yatsubusa, but it's got that twisting leaf as well, which really signifies it and makes it different than many of the other selections. Often, many of your Makawa Yatsubusa variants are color variations or variegation or something like that. That one clearly is different, not only on the color, but also on the texture. And that's one of the reasons I love Japanese Princess. It was a selection found by Talon Buckholtz at our Buckholtz farm we purchased in 2023. It's found years and years before that, though, off of the giant Makawa Yatsubusa there. And it's just a beast of a tree. It's one of the biggest Makawas in the world. And that was a chance seedling that was found there. Next up, we have Snow Kitten. Y'all, like I said, we're bringing the heat on the Makawa types. Snow Kitten is a variegated Makawa Yatsubusa. It was found as a variegated sport at Larry Stanley's place. And the story goes, he had some Makawa Yatsubusas in these bonsai pots, and you know, a snowstorm collapsed his greenhouses, and up from the snow stuck this variegated sport sticking off of it. Snow Kitten. Snow Kitten was the original name. It's been called, it was called Elmer as like a code name, working name in the beginning. It was later switched over, and some people were calling it Yamayuki or Yukiyama. Snow Kitten was the original name put on it by Fred Hooks. Fred Hooks actually bought the naming rights from Larry Stanley, and he was the one that was really pushing Snow Kitten early on. Y'all, next up, we've got a hot sauce in a 7-gallon. And I'm not talking about 7 gallons of hot sauce itself. I'm talking about Acer Olive Rainham hot sauce, which is a selection by us here at Mr. Maple. It's part of our Heat Seeker series. It was found as a chance seedling in Japan by Masayoshi Yano. It had a code name working on it, and then he told us to put a name on it. We got permission to put hot sauce on it to be part of our Heat Seeker series with hot blonde, hot tamale, hot rod, and hot chicken. And hot sauce, it's got that blood good style leaf, but it's got the heat tolerance of Acer Olive Rainham. I love Acer Olive Rainham because it gives it the superpower to make it more heat tolerant and more durable in the sun. And so you get that good red color. There were rumors about this tree. People didn't really believe that it even existed. And I was so excited to finally get hot sauce. Y'all, an amazing tree that we got to introduce here at Mr. Maple. Y'all, 7-gallon. We're not talking about a 1-gallon. We got a 7-gallon going off today. Next up, we got Cashmere. This was a chance seedling Matt and I found when we went through thousands of Japanese maple seedlings. This was a chance seedling from Kocha no Ito, and the leaves are really thread-like, and they twist and curl. When they first leaf out, it reminds you of something like fairy hair, but this is more vigorous growing. And, you know, later on, late in the season, the leaves are a little bit thicker, but not as thick as even Kocha no Ito, which is often one of the thinnest leafed Linear Lobum selections. It's got a good red fall color, good upright habit. Y'all, another one of our introductions going off this evening. Next up, we don't have many of these left, but this is the rarest maple, one of the rarest maples in the world, Acer Escucha. We got a liner of Acer Escucha here. It's the Mexican cloud forest maple. Y'all, these things are super rare. You can't even bring them to the United States anymore. This came from a tree that was in the United States now, where there's a nice little grouping of them. But these are super rare, like super rare. There's 5 disjunct populations in Mexico, and deforestation is actually taking out a couple of those different disjunct populations. And a couple of those disjunct populations have now been categorized as like another species or subspecies of Acer Escucha. So, you know, they're actually dividing that up, so there's even less of them than they even originally thought, which is crazy. But Acer Escucha, it gives you everything you like about a sugar maple. It's basically a sugar maple that grows down in Mexico, and in Guatemala. So it's one of the few maples, I think the only maple, that naturally grows south of the equator. It's crazy. It's heat tolerant. It's actually fairly cold tolerant as well, and it has a good yellow fall color. We've got one of these that we also sold to the city of Hendersonville, and they've got one sitting right in front of the Henderson County Travel and Tourism. There's one Fairview right beside of it, actually Endowment right beside of it, and then right beside of that is the Acer Escucha. And so, you know, we got this beautiful one right there in downtown Hendersonville, which is really cool. One of the rarest maples in the world. I love Acer Escucha. We did a full cultivar breakdown on the species of Acer Escucha. You should go check that one out as well on our Mr. Maple Show channel. If you're not subscribed over there, you should go check that out as well. We put out daily content on that show. Typically, things air at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, except on Sundays when we do a podcast that's at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on YouTube. But y'all, that airs on Saturday on your favorite podcast platform. You can find us there as well. Next up, we've got Acer Shirasolanum Magic Moon. This is an Acer Shirasolanum selection that has like a yellow malting variegation that is very unique, that I've never seen on another Acer Shirasolanum. It is very different. The leaf can curl and twist. Y'all, it's a collector plant. It's awesome. Green with that yellow malting variegation is next level. The way the leaves twist and curl, it's one of those trees that everyone falls in love with. Years ago, we sold way too many Magic Moons, and it took us a while to build up to be able to offer it again. Well, I found another one right now. We may be sold out on Mr. Maple, but I found another one around the nursery to list here on eBay. Next up, we've got Acer Shirasolanum Ayagasa. Ayagasa's got some nice round leaves. It's a selection from Japan that, you know, I may have seen in Europe, I may have seen in Japan, but I've rarely have ever seen anyone else ever offer this except us here at Mr. Maple. It's got a good upright habit, some oranges to reds in the fall. Ayagasa, super rare. Now's your chance to grab it. Next up, we're starting back with some Makawa types again, y'all. And there's going to be a bunch of them on today's going off, so get excited. If you're trying to collect Makawa types, today's the day. Y'all, next up, we've got Acer Palmatum Koi. This is a selection by us here at Mr. Maple that's got some nice bronze colorations in the spring. Get some sort of yellowish bronze colors during the summer on the new growth. It's got a little bit of a twisting leaf as well. It sort of just cups down a little bit. Very different on that, but it's one of the best fall color Makawa selections. Gives you some nice yellows and oranges at the same time. After that, we've got Mayday. Mayday is going off. Mayday is perhaps the most sought after, one of the most sought after Makawa types. There's not as many of them being produced in the United States as there was at one point. Talon sold off his stock plants, but guess what? He sold them to us. So we're actually working on getting that back up in production. But everyone wants Mayday. Mayday is that sort of peach color in the early spring, then it goes to like a blonde yellow with that Makawa tightly layering habit. So everyone wants Mayday, and it's hard to find right now. Guys, we've got it going off here on eBay. Next up, we got Kryptonite. Think Makawia Tabusa times Manya no Sato. You got this cream green on darker green variegation with this unique sickle style leaf, where the leaf is shaped like a sickle, like a grass sickle you cut grass with. Y'all, it is amazing. It's one of the most dynamic variegated Japanese maples I've ever seen. And to me, that's one of my favorite variegations that I've ever seen on any Makawa style. You know, kryptonite is what makes Superman weak. Guys, this kryptonite, this is what makes Japanese collectors and me weak at the knees. Awesome selection that we got to name here at Mr. Maple and introduce. Next up, we've got Mr. Maple's very first introduction. We got Jade Dragon. This is a selection that my dad introduced in the nursery trade. It was found by a collector, a local collector, Robert Jackman, as a chance seedling. It just has that really unique, tightly layering habit. It's really slow growing. The original Jade Dragon is at Maplewood Gardens, and it's about 3 feet. And it was planted about 2002. It's about 3 feet in height and maybe 4 or 5 foot in width. And it's just tight and dense. It has a Goshiki Kodahime style foliage. And so you get some of that coral pink on the new growth with that emerald green color. But it's much slower growing as it ages. It may be a little vigorous at a young age, but that tightens up and denses up. Y'all, that's our very first introduction that my dad introduced into the nursery trade. Acer palmatum Jade Dragon. Next up, we got Acer palmatum Makawa Sharps. Makawa Sharps has the leaf like a Sharps pygmy, the habit like a Makawa Yatsubusa. It's not actually a hybrid, we believe, between Makawa and Sharps, but it looks like it. And that's where it gets the name Makawa X Sharps. It's tightly growing, it's dense, it's got some good fall color. One you don't see that frequently, except here on the Maple Mafia channel. I don't think we've offered it too many times at Mr. Maple as well, but we've offered it here through our eBay channel as we're building up our stocks to be able to release it in a future time. Next up, we've got Acer Bergerianum Michael Steinhardt. This was a selection by the late, great Don Shadow as a yellow trident maple that can handle a lot of heat with that Acer Bergerianum leaf. That leaf gives that trident leaf shape. You've got 3 lobes on it, but then you've got that bright yellow color. This tree can handle full sun in middle to eastern and western Tennessee. So it's crazy how heat tolerant this yellow trident maple is. It's vigorous, it gets out there, but the fall colors are amazing too. You get some oranges and reds all at the same time. An amazing yellow trident maple. We're sold out at Mr. Maple, but guys, here's one for the eBay channel. Next up, we've got Acer palmatum Red Panda. This is our selection of a red Makawa Yatsubusa. We patented here at Mr. Maple, and it is one of the best reds of any of the other Makawa Yatsubusa styles. Makawa variants are becoming popular, but we've went through over 20,000 seedlings and selected the very best red, and that's Red Panda. Red Panda rocks it out with deep maroon red colors, gives you good red color flushes during the summer as well. There's not been one that's been able to beat Red Panda that's in the trade on any red color. And we're going through thousands and thousands and thousands of Makawa Yatsubusa seedlings at our Buckholtz farm. Again, like I mentioned, we got the biggest Makawa Yatsubusa in the world there at Buckholtz, and we go through thousands of seedlings. Right now, I think we've got something like 7,000 to 8,000 seedlings of Makawa Yatsubusa in 1 gallons at the Buckholtz farm. So, y'all, we're going through lots of them and evaluating them. Red Panda's still the best. Holds its color the best, and it gives you some of the best red color of any of those Makawa variants. You grab that today. Next up, we've got Munkawa Yatsubusa. This is a selection by Keith Johansson at Metro Maples. Keith saw, he was bringing off the truck, as the rumor goes, a Mun 001, aka Acer Shirasanum Moonrise, off the truck that had flowers all over it. And he looked over at his Makawa Yatsubusa, and it also had flowers on it. And so he said he took pollen off of the Moonrise and put it on his Makawa Yatsubusa and looked through the seeds that later developed and then selected Munkawa Yatsubusa. Now, Munkawa Yatsubusa does give you some of those oranges and yellows that you can get out of Moonrise. The real question is did that actually take, or is it natural variation that he found with Makawa Yatsubusa? Because it could be either, but I'm telling you, if he was looking for, and if the idea was creating a Makawa Yatsubusa variant that gives you yellows and oranges kind of at the same time, he did it with Munkawa Yatsubusa. So awesome selection, rarely dropped, growing off this evening. Next up, guys, we got Martha Ghost, one of the rarest members of the Ghost series. We've dropped it at Mr. Maple But we sold out of the ones we had. We found another one that we decided we'd let go of. Y'all, it's going off here on eBay. It's one of the rarest member of the Go series. Matt and I saw on a Maple Society newsletter years ago a listing of the complete Go series. And, you know, the typical suspects: First Ghost, Amber Ghost, Purple Ghost, Uncle Ghost. And later down the list after Baby Ghost was Martha Ghost. And we're like, Martha Ghost? So we tracked it down. Martha Ghost was named after one of Talon Buckholtz's managers of horticulture at the Buckholtz farm. After she quit working there, he quit producing as much. And I really got rid of the plant completely. We tracked this down from one of his suppliers, or one of his distributors, and were able to get it grafted and back in production. Y'all, even Talon, when he was at MrMaple, he said, man, if Martha Ghost looked as good as it did for me, as it does for you, I'd still be producing it. And y'all, it's looking pretty good at the Buckholtz farm too, because we've got it in production there as well. Dropping it here today. It's going off this evening. Now, as these trees are going off, new trees are coming on. If you want to see our full listing of all the trees we're listing on eBay, you can go to mrmaple.com/eBay, and that's how you can get and find our complete, all these trees that are getting listing and all the trees that are going off today. Next up, y'all, we've got Shinshin Yatsubusa. Now, Shinshin Yatsubusa is another tree that we got from Don Shadow. And one day we were visiting him and he said, hey guys, check this out. And we were walking around his nursery and like, oh man, that's awesome. And we said, any chance we get a cutting? And we jumped on it. Like we jumped on it as soon as he said yes. We got 2 cuttings off of it and grafted it and got Shinshin Yatsubusa in the trade. It's a Makawi Yatsubusa style with a tightly layering habit. Shin means improved. So this is Shinshin Yatsubusa. Very, very dense, dwarf, compact form in that Makawi Yatsubusa style family. Extremely rare. Hadn't seen anyone else offer it except us here at MrMaple and through our eBay channel. Next up, going off today, we've got Acer Palmatum Ladybug. Ladybug is a Makawi Yatsubusa variant, one of the slower growing selections with some nice orange-red color. We dropped a few of them at open house. And, you know, I don't think we've ever listed it on MrMaple. Here's your chance, if you can't make it to open house, to pick up a Ladybug here through our eBay. And guys, lastly today, we're ending today with Acer Palmatum Bazinga. Bazinga, this is a selection by Ed Shin. He's introduced some amazing selections: Blushing Beauty, Think Pink. Bazinga, possibly one of his most sought after ones. To me, it's extremely good red variant of a Makawi Yatsubusa. Ed has a number of Makawi Yatsubusa variants that he was growing from seed. And this one was Ed's best red. Sometimes the original code name on this was Ed #1. And it's one of the best red Makawas out there. I think Red Panda may have a little bit of an edge on it, but Bazinga is the next best one. It's rarely offered. We're offering it here today. It's probably much rarer than Red Panda. And y'all, Bazinga, I mean, it's named after the Big Bang Theory. You know, Sheldon Cooper would always go Bazinga, and he would have that shirt on there that would say Bazinga, that red shirt. That's what made him think about that red color with Bazinga. Y'all, an amazing selection from Ed Shin, NJ Acer, on social media. You should definitely try to get that tree because it's really cool and you don't see it at many other places. Guys, that is 20 trees that are going off this evening from 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to 9:10 Eastern Standard Time this evening. As those go off, more trees come on. So, you know, if you want to pay attention to that, mrmaple.com//eBay. That's where you can find all that information. Y'all, thanks so much for jumping in today on our video about everything going off on eBay with the Maple Mafia. Y'all, we love the Maple Mafia. Yes, that's y'all. Y'all are the people that told us, hey, do this eBay. And, you know, it's been something that's been great for us. It's been something we started it before the hurricane hit Western North Carolina, but it's been something that helped us with some of our rebuilding costs. It helped us through some of those times. And we appreciate all y'all shopping with us through our eBay for all, and really getting some cool trees too, because this is our chance to let y'all get some other cool trees that, you know, we hadn't let out of house yet. Y'all, thanks so much. Take care. God bless, and have a great day.